All right, this is going to be a long with 3 contracts on the micro E-mini Nasdaq 100 futures. All right, 15,930.50. All right, I'm going to put the stop one tick below the swing low here. Double check and adjust. 15,930.50. Okay. And we are aiming for 360 ticks. However, the way this trade gets managed is going to depend on what I see during the trade. And, you know, that's if the trade expands upward and I even get an opportunity to manage it without getting stopped out. So hopefully this goes well in my favor here. Let me measure out where I want my stop to be when I get the chance to place it. 15,960. All right, so I got that marked. Okay, we see how this goes. So unless we have quick, just massive expansion, what I try to do is I try to, in terms of moving my stop in the green, I try to wait for 2 closed candles that have closed above my entry point that don't have any contact with my entry point. So when I get 2 candles above my entry point that are not touching it, that's when I'll put my stop at break even. And again, that's that's if this trade continues to expand in a favorable direction and I get that opportunity. Okay, so I'm looking at both the 3-minute and the 5-minute time frames, and what I'm looking for is I essentially entered this trade based on the 3-minute and based on the fact that the 5-minute did not contradict what I was seeing on the 3-minute, and so I'm kind of waiting for the 5-minute to catch up with the 3-minute. And it looks like it is, but we still have 3 minutes left on the 5-minute candle. So you know, let's let this continue going and see what it's looking like towards the close of that candle. And I will switch this over to what I'm looking at on my other screen so that you guys can see exactly what I'm seeing. We're also inside of well, no, we just pushed outside of a 4 hour fair value gap. So this fair value gap occurred on the 4 hour time frame um, days ago. Um, and it was a bullish fair value gap. And then it ended up inverting and acting as resistance yesterday. And so now today we have it pushing backward, upwards of this fair value gap, and now it appears to be acting as support again. I haven't done a tremendous amount of testing on fair value gaps, but from what I have back tested, um, so far I really like the 4 hour fair value gaps. I'm not a huge fan of them in terms of like shorter time frames. Um, but the 1 hour is pretty decent, and the 4 hour thus far, I really like the 4 hour quite a bit thus far, you know. Um, so when I get the opportunity to couple a move off of a fair value gap in conjunction with the rules to my strategy, um, I'm a big fan of that. And it's just nice when you have so much confluence in a trade, because whether you're right or wrong, at least when you're in that trade, you're not as antsy. And at least for me, I'm more likely to give that trade a fair shot as opposed to moving my stop too soon or jumping out of the trade because I'm afraid it's going to turn around on me. I'm just a lot more calm and willing to give it a fair chance to move and do what it's going to do. So I'm going to try to stay calm and patient during this trade here. And when this candle closes, hopefully it closes green, I am going to move my stop into break even, because then based on the 3 minute time frame, I'll have two candles which have expanded above my entry point that are not touching the entry point at all. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, so 15,965 even is where I'm going to be moving my stop. 15,965. And sometimes you're not going to be able to get it exactly. Well, hold on. I mean, you can. What did I say? 15,965 even. Yeah, well, sometimes actually you're not in futures, because everything is based on ticks. So unless you're going to do manual orders and you're going to like do math by hand, um, I'm using TradingView, and so as long as I get it close to where it needs to be, that's fine. So for example, for break even, I need it to be 12 ticks above my entry point. However, a lot of times I'm not able to get that just from moving the cursor on trading view. So it, you know, a lot of times I'll be at 13 ticks as opposed to 12, which is that's fine. As long as it's not less than, because we want to make sure if the trade does go against me, I want to make sure that I'm at least better than break even, not less than break even. So originally this was a little bit less than a 3-to-1 trade. But now we're break even, so we want to win money, we want to make money, but it doesn't really matter at this point if it does turn around, because I'm not going to lose money. My new philosophy here is it's more important not to lose money than it is to make money. So if I'm in a bind and I have to try to figure out what decision I need to make quickly in a trade, then it needs to be do no harm to the account. It's better not to lose money than it is to make money. It's more important. All right, so I'm looking for, I really want to see it break this area. I want to see it push beyond this last swing high. I want to push this as far as I think I should with all of the contracts that I'm in the trade with, but I do like to prepare because, you know, sometimes like out of nowhere, you know, like momentum changes, and sometimes it seems like it's a good idea to start trying to scale out of a position. And so if that is the case, I like to just be ready if that's the direction that I want to go. Try to be patient here and not get too jumpy. As you can see, well, I'm when I start seeing red in a long, I get real meticulous about because I am an indicators trader, so I start getting real meticulous about what the stochastic is doing. Okay. So far, so good. So I'm looking at the stochastic, I'm looking at the MACD also. So the stochastic started to look a little bit weak on the 3 minute, but I held it because we see nothing but green on the MACD. Again, all of this stuff is really just reflecting price action, but just for my brain, the way I see the market, I just, for me, it just is more of a clear understanding when I can look at the indicators and use that to make decisions. And that's just a me thing. A lot of you guys are able to look at price action, and what I see in indicators, you see in price action. And we all naturally pick up on different things, and that's just how my brain sees the market and takes things in and understands it best. Mm. All right, I'm gonna get rid of one. Get rid of two. All right, I'm out. Whatever it does after this is none of my business. I think it's got some potential in it, but again, I'm very heavy on what the stochastic is showing me, and I'm not someone who feels like I need to suck every single cent out of a move. The 3-minute stochastic has crossed. The 5-minute has also, and what I typically see is that when that happens, there will be another expansion, another favorable expansion, and it'll come right back to that same area, and that's when you'll really get like a really strong signal to get out of the trade, and it ends up being right about the same point. So I'm happy to get out now and not risk losing any more money. And there goes the expansion. Let's see how much of a push we get here.